Hello, hello, my beautiful rebel souls. It's been a while. I did not do a reading for last month, so I'm doing a reading now. This reading is going to cover for us rebel soul healers for the time period of like mid-April to the end of May. And then what I'm hoping is to be by June, picking it up again where I'm doing monthly rebel soul readings. But for now, just to make sure I got everything covered, we're going to do it from April 15th to May 31st. And that's because I work for a governmental state agency and I may be called or deployed at any point. And so it's just kind of, everything's just kind of up in the air. So there you have it. All right, let's get to it. We're going to jump into the Mildred Payne. It's been a moment since we worked with the Mildred Payne, and that's the Mildred Payne Secret Pocket Oracle. If you all are not familiar with this cute little deck of mine, I need to re-edge it because it is well worn. I think did I re-edge it again? It looks kind of like I may have already. I'm trying to re-edge and refreshen up some of my decks that I had, the black started to fade. Anyways, so we're going to go with the Mildred Payne because this is a classic for me. And the first question we're going to ask, okay, thank you, Spirit, is what are we confronting in this time period? What's happening for us? What are we seeing? What's going on? What's happening? What do we have going on for the rebel souls who are called to watch this video? And this is for the time period of April. Oh, cannot get these little cards. April 15th to May 31st. Okay. All right, what tools will we be utilizing in the month of April and May, basically? What tools will we be utilizing this month? What tools will we have at our disposal for the month as rebel souls? What tools do some of us choose to ignore to use? Okay. And finally, how does the month end, or how does that time period end at the end of May 31st? How does it end? How do we feel about it? What are the takeaways of that time period for us? What are the time periods? And this is for the rebel souls who are called to watch. The rebel soul healers, the rebel souls who are just rebels at heart, and they've always been like that and they always will be. And yeah, what are those takeaways and leave behinds at times? Okay. So I'm going to use this for clarification. Spirit of the will. Spirit for what we're confronting. We got the broom, the rope, the girl, storm, and star. Can you give us clarity, any clarity at all about those messages that are in the position of what we're confronting, what's happening? Trust, spirit path of the south, personal space, openness, and faith. I love that. Okay. So that's clarity card number 1. I might scoop these down so they can have their own delineation of clarifying cards. Okay. Okay. What tools will we be utilizing? In Spirit, we got the pitchfork, dove, rat, ankh, and herb. Experience, spirit path of the west, letting go, movement forward, reflection. These are the tools. It's like a summary, if you will, or clarity if we get stumped on a particular card meaning. And then finally, let me see if I can turn this where it's straight. Okay. The outcome. How does the month... Oh, thank you. Okay. It didn't even let me finish. Stone of the Ancestors, higher good, guidance, and choice. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. And we might, if we have time, we'll pull from these other decks that I have here. But for now, we're going to work with these. And I'm like, where is my pointer? Did it drop it? Did I lose it? Of course, it's disappeared. I mean, that's okay. This is a small deck, so we don't need all that fanciness. Okay, so what are we confronting in this time period of mid-April to end of May? We've got the Broom. And so I'm getting a sense here with the Broom that many of us are going to find ourselves really trying to clean up our lives, getting a situation in order, really, cleaning our home space, being in our home a lot as of late, and just realizing it's not as clean as we want, dealing with our finances, cleaning that up. This is a season for, whether we're rebel souls or not, of really assessing where we're at, looking closely at things, and being able to have the space, time, and wherewithal to clean it up, to dust some things off, to sweep things out of the way, to sweep it out the house. And so that's very helpful. And it comes because I like the keyword here, personal space, openness, and faith, that we're going to enter at a point, Rebel Souls, where we're going to probably towards the end of April going into May, start to feel a little bit more faithful, a little bit more trusting that things are really turning around, and that, yeah, there were many setbacks with this big moment that we've been all experiencing on a global level. But now we're starting to see the benefits of it, one of which is being able to clean things up, sweep things out of the way, and address some things that needed to be addressed. And so then we have here the Rope card, which is all about having a strong connection or bond, deepening a bond with loved ones, deepening a bond within ourselves, most importantly, deepening a bond also most importantly with spirit. And that's an exciting thing that's happening. This bond, this rope connection, could be linking you to new clients. It could represent linking to new relationships, whether platonic or, intimate or romantic. It could represent also, with the Rope card, it's like feeling like you're being tied up or tangled in a situation at times. And so we're still going to be in a season of feeling like we are tied up, like we're restricted in some way. So on one hand, what's cool is it's giving us the space, time, and freedom to be able to make new connections, to start up new hobbies, to connect with new clients that we would not have otherwise had time for, had this thing not occurred, this thing being this big pandemic. And so on the other hand, though, we feel quite tethered to our home, quite tethered to the confines of our home, and it can be a little disconcerting at times. But understanding and trusting is what's important at this time. That to know that the personal space is important because it is what is protecting us ultimately, as the medical professionals and scientists try to buy time to come up with a vaccine or come up with some sort of treatment plan that can minimize the occurrence of death. So we just have to trust in this process. Trust that personal space, this beautiful key phrase here, is what's needed. And that we can still have personal space, yet still be open. Look at the word below that, openness, and with faith. And I just love that. It's like, and like a physical manifestation of this could be an actual woman or girl, I guess you could say, or young woman or older woman who is providing some sort of wisdom and guidance to you, to me, to the rebel soul who's guided to watch this. And this could also represent, if it's not an actual woman or feminine energy in our life, it could represent a time of feeling like innocent, I want to say nostalgic, having carefree thoughts, and feeling very youthful at heart is what this card is about. And it's like saying, this is what we're going to be experiencing. This is what we're going to be confronting in the month of May primarily, but bits and pieces of April, where what we're going through now has got the ability to make some memories, even if there's tears to be shed, even if there's tons of frustration that's happening. When we look back at this time, we will look back and see that this was a season where we slowed down just a little bit, enough to realize that shifts and changes needed to happen and that things in our life needed to be addressed and cleaned up. So this is encouraging to see. But yeah, there is still storm clouds. There's still this sense of tumultuous turmoil going on in many of our lives, or what we as rebel souls are witnessing in our clients' lives, for example. If we are professional healers, for example, we are seeing that. We're seeing that in our own lives, where the storms are still there, that it's turbulent times, that it feels dangerous at times. Now, there's a sense of feeling dangerous, and then there's a sense of, is it actually dangerous? It's really hard to tell. But ultimately, it's turbulent emotions going on, because sometimes you can have a storm going on and it doesn't affect us. But what is really going on is that we're having some turbulent emotions, likely around being tethered. And thankfully, we have some sort of mentor or a loved one or a partner or someone in our life, female energy coming through, that's giving us some insight as to, like, okay, just pace yourself. It's going to be okay. You're going to be fine. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. And so that nurturing, she brings that nurturing, and then it allows us the space to be able to trust and have faith again. But yeah, there's still some sort of turbulent times, especially towards the end of the month. The end of the time period, I should say, the end of the second to last week of May, we still have a bit of storm clouds and storms and turbulent emotions we're dealing with, or that our clients are dealing with and coming to us to kind of address it. And how we best advise them is, just again, creating that personal space, trusting that everything is unfolding as it should be, when it should be, in its own divine timing. Please hold the faith, continue to be open to all possibilities, and relax. That's the advice that we can give them as rebel soul healers. Hold on. Sorry, I need a sip of my beverage. Okay. So then finally, I'm also encouraged to see the star card, because this is all about, at the end of the month, or end of May, I should say, it's about hope. It's about us having an awakened sense of clarity, seeing things more clearly now, being inspired by what we've gone through, and being inspired just by who we are and what creativity that's downloaded. And at the end of the month, it's going to be a beautiful time for the Rebel Soul group. It really is. That faith is going to show up and start to manifest into actual real results that we've been trying to manifest. But it's not going to come without a fight, of course. But at the beginning, like April 15th, we find ourselves cleaning house, looking at finances, addressing things, filing taxes, taking care of business, applying for different kinds of jobs, getting our business finances in order, all of that, because we're tethered. We're tethered still. Tools position. What tools do we have at our disposal? What tools can we utilize? What tools that some of us choose to ignore? Because some of us will choose to ignore them. And hey, this is a journey, and you get there how we want to get there. So we have here the pitchfork. One of the tools at our disposal with the pitchfork is in the tools position. It's about feeling rebellious and leaning into rebellion. Leaning into, just rebellion with forward momentum in mind. Not rebellion just for the sheer fact or just to be an ass and just to be difficult. No, rebellion because you want to move forward. Here, experience, spirit path of the West, letting go, movement forward, reflection. So that right off the bat for me is with the pitchfork. It's also about tapping into our individualism this month as rebel souls, and to, especially if we're creative beings, it just, letting our true light, letting our true selves, letting our authentic, bare-souled selves out to the world to come play. It will be safe. People will welcome it. So that's something to consider. Not being afraid of conflict this month. Sometimes raising up and saying, you know what, I'm not going to take this anymore. I'm going to move on, move forward is sometimes what needs to be happening, and not to be afraid of conflict about it or around it. Just to trust that everything needs to happen in the way you're divinely guided to move. Your intuition is telling you to move in a certain way, so you're following that intuition. But sometimes there will be conflict on the way. But that doesn't mean you have to sit in anticipation of it or sit, ready to fight. That just means, okay, there may be conflict, but I'm okay with that, and I stand in my truth. I stand in what I need to do. Okay, so then we have the dove. And so with the dove, this is about keeping our peace about ourselves, trying to keep in harmony. What does that look like for some of us? Does that look like meditation? Does that look like daily walks? What does that look like? It also shows up in friendship. Many of us will be, as rebel souls, tapping in and reconnecting with friends on, trying to out Skype or FaceTime, or just a simple phone call or texting, or connecting on social media. Friendships will definitely be blossoming. Many of us will be experiencing blessings and also wanting to be a blessing to others. So in the tools position, we find ourselves being as tools and blessings for others. And this card is also about healing, about us understanding the power of our healing thoughts, and about us really, as a result of that, experiencing good health. And this card is also, in terms of being in the tools position, it's about being open now and being intentional with our affirmations and everything that we wish to manifest with abundance. It's about being in alignment with that in the tools position. That's a lot to carry in the tools position. But hey, Spirit wants you to feel as if you can have whatever you want, because you can. It's just a matter of aligning to it, to its vibration, aligning your vibration to its vibration, and being able to now enjoy it in the physical plane. It is already there. It is already manifest. It is already up in the ethers, ready to be downloaded and brought into the physical plane. So, all that to say, So then we have the rat card in the tools position. And the rat card is about, making sure that we take care of our immune systems to root out any possibilities of disease coming at us. And also just really not holding on to toxic things, letting go, and not holding on to toxic relationships or holding on to grudges with people we had toxic relationships with, because that can be just as detrimental. We have the Ankh. I know I've heard people pronounce it in different ways, and that's how I pronounce it. Sorry, folks. I'm sure it's mispronounced, but that's how I pronounce it. Secret knowledge is what the main meaning of this card. And it's also about our increased awareness, our increased spirituality these coming month and a half, about really downloading and tapping into that higher power, knowledge and energy and wisdom, and that experience, downloading it into our world and then being able to share it with others. And why are we doing all this? Why are we making all of this happen with the tools? It kind of gives us a clue here with the herb. And the herb card is about, there's so many different modalities out there to try for healing. There's Reiki, there's sound therapy, there's, different water types of therapy. There's, all sorts of things that we can do. There's prayer. There's the power of prayer. There are miracles, the power of, I think, what is it? I can't even think of it. It's late. It's actually pretty much past my bedtime that I'm doing this reading, of course. So, with the herbs is about looking at what's natural, what's available, what's inside of us that we can tap into, that can heal ourselves. Many people are going to see examples of how mind over matter really helped heal people of physical illnesses and ailments. And we're going to really start to see and bear witness and experience the power of our thoughts, the power of our intentions, the power of how we heal ourselves, what we tell what we do with our thoughts when we are fighting something, because our will to live is strong. So and we have these medicines, these actual medicines at our disposal too, also in the physical tool of it all with the herb. So we have that as a tool. There are many physical herbs, like many herbs, plants that I use to help keep my immune system up during this time. And so there's many different things that people can tap into. Finally, the outcome. How does the end of May, how does it end? What are the takeaways? How do we feel about it? All of that. I mean, what will we leave behind for this time period, or what maybe we'll carry with us, or what we need to carry with us into June and beyond. And so we have the Axe card, and the Axe card is in the outcome position. And it could be that we may be dealing with some conflicts or disputes, maybe for some of us, some level of estrangement, with partners or with friends. This could be that we had to really cut ties and cut physical ties because of the shelter in places across the world, really. And so this could be literally just what that is speaking of. Not even necessarily, but it could be little conflicts as a result of that. It could be big conflicts. It could be just simply just the fact that things had to be cut and contact had to be cut for a while, physical contact. And yeah. On the other hand, though, it could definitely represent some level of progress, some sort of, moving forward with the Axe card. Stone of the Ancestors, for our highest good. This is for our highest good, this axe, this cutting us down to size, really, reminding us of our humanity. We are human beings. Sometimes I think that human beings have a tendency to feel like we are superhuman, feel like we own the planet, feel like we are invincible. And we're not. And some things like thunderstorms or lightning, or viruses and things really remind us how fleeting this physical body can be. And so, it's good for us to have these moments, really, sadly, or not sadly, but it could be gladly. And it's for our highest good. And that we have a choice of how we look at things. With this card, it has choice as one of the keywords. Also, Stone of the Ancestors. The ancestors had to deal with these things too. So we can discuss these things with our ancestors. We can have conversations with our ancestors about these things that we're going through, is what Spirit is telling me to share. So I love that. We're going to be really facing fears and confronting fears with this card here, with the Hag card. Facing nightmares. Many of us are going to feel like we're in a nightmare, like we're on some sort of, ankle monitoring, where you have the ankle bracelet and you can't leave your house. You're on house arrest. It feels like that. It kind of causes nightmares, anxieties, fears. Some of us may feel sick and feel like we may, or maybe we have clients who feel ill and not sure of what's going on, and it's causing all sorts of fears, and just bizarre things happening, just weird little things happening. But just know that you are loved, you are protected, and just say those affirmations. Affirm that for yourself. Affirm it. Because you know why? We are going to be the light. We are the light with this Candle card. We are the light for others, rebel souls. People are seeing the light in the darkness. They're seeing us in their darkness. And sometimes they want to come to it and be closer to us. And remember, they're coming from a place of darkness. So they may not always come in the most kindest of ways or the nicest of ways. But they are drawn to you because you're the light in their darkness. And it has like a huge responsibility to be the light, right? For better or for worse. And so we also are going to be experiencing a lot of spiritual enlightenment and feeling hopeful at the end of May as we go into June, which is awesome. And I say that because I feel like we're going to start to leave behind those fears. Leave behind, like probably by June, we may start to feel it may be safe to come out and play again. Not full on like we were before, but things may start to kind of chill out, and we may start to leave those kind of energies in the end of May. As we go forward into May going into June, things start to seem promising. And I say that because we've got the Diamond card with the Wish card. And so having to do this was for our highest good, to protect us, to protect those who have a strong will, those who are who want to continue on in this physical plane. So now we have the Diamond card. And that is all about, getting some clarity around the situation. Realizing that we have enduring love, and that some of us may definitely feel a little invincible, because some of us either may, have dodged the virus, or maybe gotten it and just recovered, or maybe helped many clients deal with the turmoil that resulted from having to deal with a pandemic, even if they weren't sick. And so we're going to have a lot of clarity coming through that's going to move on through June and through the months ahead going forward. But I love it because it's a promising card after the candle. It's like, okay, the illumination has happened. It's happening, and that's good. And then we have the wish card. Many of us as rebel souls and as human beings wish that, things are going to turn around. Things are going to try to get back to a little bit of normalcy. And some of us will start to find our own new normal. It may not be the old normal, but it'll be the new normal. And the new normal will have some new things that make our lives better on the other side of this. It is wishes fulfilled, really, is what this card is about. It is about a desired outcome. It is about hoping for the impossible and the impossible happening. It's also about having, like some of us, allowing ourselves to have the space to have grand visions for our future. That tells me that there's promising things coming ahead going forward, meaning that if we're able to be in a place where we can start to think about our future and grand thoughts at that, that means that a tide will start to turn. But we will not be the same, which is good. You don't necessarily, after you've gone through such a tumultuous time, do you really want things to be the same, or do you want to evolve for the better? Medicine Mother, honor your inner knowing. Oh, love that. Any other messages, Spirit? And voyage, like a literal voyage for some of us. Now, not for many of us, maybe a couple of us, because, well, as you can understand, we're in a different time now. But many of us are going through a voyage of change, and it's going to be quite profound this year. 2020 will be forever memorable, not just because it was a catchy year number, like 2020 is catchy, right? No, we went through some tumultuous changes with this year, this turn of the decade. I love that. We'll look at the guidebook quickly. I don't want to take up too much of our time. But because it was covering a month and a half, I wanted to be as comprehensive as possible. Because, I get a sense with the Medicine Mother, honoring your inner knowing is going to be quite the theme over this time period. And just, your inner knowing is going to be what best tells you and informs you. So just go with that. I'm going to see if there's anything from the guidebook here to take with us as we close out this reading. It may or may not. This is the Medicine Mother, 52. Okay, message. Take action. Do what you need to do. Do what you know you need to do. It's going to be a big theme this month for us, rebel souls. Okay. There is an old pattern rising up in you now, and it's time to deal with it and release it for good. You're being encouraged to love and respect yourself enough to take the steps you know you need to take to move closer to where you'd like to be. You already know the answers. You know what you need to do. You may have been using delaying tactics or holding back, but now you are being guided to take action. Action requires courage, but your angels and guides are bringing you the courage to move forward. Take just one step. When you do, the next one will be presented to you. Oh, I love that. So now I'm guided because I feel like these two are talking to each other. So it's like, take that next step to go on that voyage. And so we're going to see the Sacred Landscape message. Get ready. You are about to embark on a journey. It might be an inner sojourn or an outer voyage to a distant land. It might be a project or idea that is coming to life, but most certainly you are an intrepid traveler, sallying forth into the unknown. Where do you want to go? What have you always wanted to do or be? This is the time to make it happen. Get prepared. Have a clear vision of what you want to experience, but also be prepared for the unexpected. That is part of the exhilaration of being a traveler. Remember to enjoy the journey as much as reaching the destination. That's a beautiful way to close this Rebel Soul energetic reading for the time period of April 15th to May 31st, 2020. Thank you all so much for joining me. Sending you so much love, so many blessings, wishes of the sweetest blessings to you. Please be safe. Please be well. Until next time. Bye.